Alright guys, what is up? I'm actually in Manchester today. I'm going back to my basic hometown. I was near Liverpool basically growing up, so Manchester's a bit of a stomping ground for me. I'm here with Dani today. We actually met ages ago through the internet, but we finally got together. We're both photographers, filmmakers and fitness enthusiasts, and today we're going to do a question and answer.
Yeah.
Question and answer for you guys, so that you can understand a little bit more of what we do, why we do it, and how you can do it too. So one of the questions I got asked on my own personal Instagram was, how do we convert work? So, you know, like you're getting a lot of tractions if you've got a website. I don't personally have a website, but I know that you're in the development.
I am building a website. I think it's going to be an interesting thing to do. Yeah, for sure.
And then obviously, you know, people are like, if they're getting a lot of traction, if they're getting a lot of people that are saying that they're interested but not actually converting it into a sale, into an actual photo session or film session, like how do we do it? Which I think might be a little bit different because we both have different ways of how we work.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you do it.
Most people approach me through social media, you know, Instagram DMs or Facebook or wherever, or referred through people that I've worked with before. And in terms of converting like ideas and inquiries into actual shoots and deals, I think it's just a case of, it's just a communication. Like, you know, people saying, oh, we'll shoot sometime. Yeah, that's great. But you need to give them the time. You need to say, right, I've got a couple of days free next week. When can you do? And you've got to like actually physically book it in if you want it to happen.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally 100% agree with that.
Yeah. Like don't leave that to the client. Like, because otherwise they can just forget about it. That was a noisy train. We are sat underneath a train track, which seemed like a great idea initially.
Let's see how the road mic does.
I think we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. But yeah, don't leave it to the client to organise things. You've got to not chase them too hard, but you know, you've got to keep, you know, pushing that process along.
You've got to be very proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. Like everything that I do, like there's particular clients that I want to work with, and I've got to convince them that I'm a good reason that they should work with me.
Yeah.
That to me is the best part of it. So a lot of people get really bogged down when they don't get clients, and I don't, because to me it's a challenge. So every single person who says no, I'm like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah.
So I've had clients that have said, we're going to shoot soon, and I'm like, okay, great, I'm free on the 12th, the 17th and the 23rd of this month, let's do it. And then if they say no, I'm like, okay, well on one of those days do you want to meet up for a coffee and talk about it? And then I've done things like that, and then they've still not gone anywhere for like months, and then before you know it, they'll think, I actually need some photography and film work doing now. Emily met up with me, she had a coffee, she did this, she did that, she's very proactive, she doesn't sit on the fence and wait for me.
Yeah.
That's how I do it, and mine's all engagement. Mine's like, if I haven't spoken to them for a week, bang, message them. You've got Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and you have all of these platforms where I can pick up my phone.
People are
now.
always on their phones.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason not to lose touch with somebody.
Yeah. It's like, well,
there is zero excuse.
Yeah, you look at what we're doing right now.
On both sides, there's no excuse.
No, you look at what we're doing now, and we've said that we're going to do this for ages, and then I said last night,
yeah.
But we literally only spoke about doing this last week.
Yeah, it was, Emily is coming up north for a bit.
Yep.
I said, I'm working at home this week, and I was like, you let me know.
And that was like last night. I was like, right, do you want to do it tomorrow? Yeah, bang, I'll be there at 12. And actually I was here at 11.
Yeah.
So it is just that kind of like, don't sit and wait for people. And also, this is my own personal rant. Don't go into advertising if you do not know how to advertise. Like, I am not a marketer.
Yeah.
I know how to talk, I know how to like convert sales and stuff, but I find it very difficult to take like a 10-second video and make that good enough that people don't even want to talk to me before they book me. I'm not that good at that, so I don't do it.
Yeah.
I just talk to people and it converts sales.
Yeah, like if you are a creator or working for yourself in any way. Like, yes, you need to sell, you need to have a product or a service that, you know, you can show to people, but equally you need to sell yourself. Like, obviously people buy our photos, our videos, but they also buy into spending a day with us, and you need to convince them that that's what they want to do.
Yeah,
do you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Like, we're not saying that you need to be a massive socialite and go to all the biggest events and stuff like that, but you need to be able to sit down with any human being and make a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, if they're booking you, like we're Majority Fitness, but you've just done Bacardi and all this kind of stuff, you're not going to talk about fitness. You're loud.
We're not going to talk about anything if these trains going over.
We're doing great, we're doing fine.
We're doing fine.
But it is, you know, like if you're sat with Bacardi, you're not going to talk about your 1 rep max on deadlifts.
No, yeah.
And you just need to be able to have a general conversation with people, and that is normally, because now social media is taken over, you can be anyone you want behind a phone. So try and make sure you're authentic to yourself.
Yes.
And then that will give you long-term success over short-term success.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one thing that I've learned a lot this year. Like, I had an entirely separate Instagram account last year for fitness, and I realised actually I was being somebody that I wasn't. I wasn't wholly that person. Obviously I love fitness and it's still an everyday part of my life, but fitting in there took more effort than just being myself. So with my new account, with my new branding, with my new career direction, what I am online now, what you see on here, on my Instagram page, whatever, that is me. And I feel like I have never met Emily in person before, but we are exactly who we think each other are.
Like, we spoke for probably the best part of a year. And it feels like I've met up with Dani and I'm getting the exact same person that I did over Instagram and YouTube.
Imagine how that kind of relationship would work between yourself as a business person and a client. When they meet you in person or when they speak to you over the phone, you need to be the exact same. You need to be like,
unless you're an incredibly good actor, just be yourself. So much easier. It's so much easier, and it's less stressful.
It is always less stressful just to be yourself,
because you'll attract an audience that you're meant to have. Like, regardless if it means you've got, like, you know, you've at the minute got nearly 600 followers and I've got 2,500, but we're pretty much the same. The difference is, it's just at the minute, I don't think our conversion rates are very different. Just the difference is I have more numbers. That's the only difference.
You've got that little bit more. I'd say that I'm probably slightly newer to this than you. I'm still a couple of steps behind.
Social media wise, I think you are. Photography wise, no. I think you're like literally on the same par as me, if not
business
slightly
wise,
higher.
Definitely you've got more experience, but like mentality, very much on the same page, and you know.
But I don't think because you've got 600 and I've got 2,400 or whatever it is, I don't think you have less of a chance of converting a sale than I do.
No. I think that's a fair point.
Because because people get so hooked on numbers.
I think that's another point altogether. Like, I started a whole new Instagram page at the beginning of the year, and I was like, oh no, I'm starting from zero. Oh, that sounds rubbish. But like, is it though?
No.
Like, no, you don't need millions of fans and followers, because at the end of the day, you just need a couple, a handful, and a loyal group of people that are interested in you. And like, you don't need 1 million people to book you for a shoot.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You just need a couple of people that, you know, as long as you're earning enough, you're enjoying it, and you know, like,
if you put it into simple mathematical equation, if you had 100 people, let's say you had 100 people, but all 100 people invested £100 a month, you'd be making £10,000 off that. I'd be making nothing. If I had 2,400 and only 20 of them converted into sales, I'd be making an 8,000 compared to your 10,000, even though your numbers are so much more lower than mine. That's what you've got to. That's what you've got to do.
It's what is it? I think I've seen Lauren Tickner. What was the phrase that she used? It's not the size of your following, it's the strength of your following.
Exactly.
There you go. That's what I was trying to put into words.
So it's because like that's the way that I put it, because I've been very fortunate to work with people who are very high up in the social influencing industry and stuff. But you do see it. You see, I've seen it, people with like 30,000 followers, and they're only getting a conversion of like 3% of those followers.
Yeah.
And then you've got someone who's got 200 followers, but they're getting an 87% conversion and stuff.
Yeah.
To me, I used to get really hooked on numbers, and now I've just stopped.
I for a while I was managing an Instagram page with about 10,000 followers, and posting my content to it. And initially I was really excited. I was like, oh, this is great. And then when actually I realised that actually it just wasn't, the community wasn't there.
No.
It was.
You got numbers, but you've got no audience.
Yeah, and it was just a number on a page because the comments were spam, the likes were mediocre. Like, it was like, oh.
You can spot it from a mile off though.
Oh yeah.
You can, like, people who do it, and I'm sorry, I'll call every single one of you out. You can see it. You'll have 10,000 followers, but you'll get 78 likes and no comments. And if you do get comments, it's the exact same people every single time. And it's like you've just bought yourself that following.
Yeah.
And it's like, but if anyone has got half a brain, they'll be able to see that, and they won't work with you anyway. You might have 10,000, but they see that people don't care about what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of whether you're sitting there right now thinking that I don't want to start this because I only have 500 followers, I can tell you now,
absolutely
I'm
not.
sat next to someone who is actually doing very, very well for someone who's only been doing it for a short period of time with 500 followers.
Opportunities come one at a time, but you've got to learn to stop saying no. Like, as soon as you say, I'm not ready for this, or I can't do that yet, I can't do that yet.
Yeah.
If somebody approaches you with something that you've never done before, you go and learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And then when you've got a whole bunch of things that you've done, then you can show people, oh, I've done this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
One that I got asked as well was, how much do you need to invest to be able to do this?
Oh, okay, sure.
Because we're very different on this one.
Yeah, so obviously apart from investing your time and your energy, so everybody on my channel knows that I was on internship this summer. I worked 8 weeks full-time with the University of Manchester. I was paid, obviously, as a full member of casual staff. I invested more than what I earned this summer.
Yeah.
My entire setup that's in front of us here, so that's my Sony A7 Mark III, the tripod, the microphone, the SD cards, the lenses, the filters.
I'm very jealous, by the way.
The strap, the bags, I am yet to profit.
Yeah.
I am yet to profit from anything that I've done.
Yeah.
But once you've made that initial investment, like I'm not going to be buying another camera for a very long time.
No, you're not going to need to do that.
So, like, initially the setup cost can be quite hefty.
Yeah.
But if you can produce the content that, if you use it to produce the high quality content that's going to drive business your way, that's going to progress you as a professional, then over time with consistency, then it's going to come back and then some.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
But
so I'm obviously very different, only for the fact that you've recently invested in this, and I'm very jealous again. I do have a Nikon D3400, which you can get for about 350 quid, and then I have a Panasonic G7, which I think was 650 all in total. So if you think that my whole setup is about half of what your camera costs.
Yeah, oh yeah, without the lens.
Yeah, without the lens, without the microphone, without the tripods or the SD cards or anything.
Just a completely non-functional piece of computer.
So the massive difference is, and this is not to shit on anyone or anything like that, I think that you don't need a lot to invest in, because I'm very tempted to obviously buy one of these for the simple fact that the quality is incredible. And
I would totally agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, and it would completely step up my content creating game, but I'm also not in a position of where Dani is. Dani obviously wants to, by this time next year, is have clients, have regular clients, and have regular income coming from it. This is just a side business for me. At the minute, I do have my fitness company. I have the photography and film. I'm writing a book. I want to invest into this when it is feasible for me to do so. But people who tell me that I've had people physically walk up to me and say that I need a Sony 7, A7 Mark III, like just to get off the ground.
Absolutely not. I booked my first professional clients on my baby. It was still a Sony. I mean, it was like what, 200, 300 pounds I paid for that camera. I booked my first professional jobs and shot them on essentially like a compact mirrorless camera with its kit lens. My first professional jobs, and my clients thought it was mint. So it's you can spend thousands and thousands of pounds, but if you don't know how to use it,
that's
you're still going to produce awful photos and awful videos. I can still produce awful photos and awful videos. It's just I think the key difference between an amateur and a professional is if you're a beginner, or if you just generally don't know what you're doing, if you produce a good photo or a good video, it's by accident. The difference when you become a professional, when you produce good content, you produce amazing content on purpose
and consistently. Where you can get the thing is, anyone can buy a camera and anyone can take a photo. I always agree with that, because that's a regular statement that comes across. Not everyone can be a photographer.
Absolutely not.
Because you see all of these people walking around Manchester, like when they're visiting from freaking China or whatever, and they've got all of this kit and they're just going...
and it can be the most simple of things, like holding it straight. Do you know what I mean? Like,
using the grid that's on the back.
Using the grid, like...
Histograms, as I was going on about before.
Histograms.
It's all those little things.
It's just the little things that add up.
Yeah. A camera doesn't make a photographer.
Absolutely
the
not.
The photographer makes the camera.
Yeah.
That camera is amazing, and that's where I'm not.
Photographers see the photo before they've taken it.
Yeah. And they know exactly, like I do things now where I take photos. Like I can see my eyes going everywhere throughout this whole thing, but I can see myself like seeing things and being like, that would be a great photo.
I bet you do it as well. You look at like that. We've got a bridge just in front of us, and we're like, there's lines, there's symmetry. Oh, there's a pillar there. We've got thirds, we've got symmetry, we've got lines. I look at everything as a series of lines and shapes.
And that's what you do, but you get used to that.
But that's just sort of how you see the world now.
But it's like you say, like Dani started off with a £200-300 camera. I've still got my £350 camera. I've upgraded the lens, but I've still got the basic model of what I started working with. But you will look at what I took in the beginning and what I'm taking now, and I love telling people that it's the same camera. Because then they go, well, you got a lot better then, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, because I became a better photographer.
Like maximise whatever equipment that you've got, even if that equipment is your phone. Like you can produce some pretty good stuff on your phone. Videos, like practice speaking to a camera before actually having a camera.
I mean, that's a good thing to go off from this. This is a YouTube video. If anyone comments below and says that they don't know how to start doing YouTube and they have a freaking phone, I'm going to come through the screen and hit you. Because that's like... An iPhone it still goes up to 1080p.
Yeah, some camera phones are 4K now.
Yeah. And you can fit, like if you're going to do vlogging like we do, you can do it off that. You don't need to invest into this.
If you're not ready for like a 2-minute video, do Instagram stories. They're 15 seconds long.
Yeah, there's so many ways to go about it. Like you don't just have to do what we're in a very nice position where we're able to do this now.
Just maximise the potential of whatever you've got. If that's your phone, great. If it's a £200 point and shoot camera, go for it. If it's a £3,000 Sony setup, then go for it.
The way you said that was like, I felt it leave my pocket.
I was like, oh, I just felt that. But yeah, next question. Like we're actually counting.
Yeah, we're not counting.
We're not counting. It's a conversation starter.
Pretty much. What do you like better, photo or film? What do you like better, photo or film?
Originally, see this we were chatting about this earlier. Originally, obviously, I started vlogging, I started video before I started photo professionally, I guess. But I think over the last sort of like summer, over the last couple of months, Obviously I've still been doing a lot of video work, but I've been doing so much more photo work than I used to. Sometimes I go out just for photo work, sometimes I go out just for video work.
Yeah.
Most of the time when I'm working I do both. But I'm at a point where actually some days I go out and I feel more confident as a photographer sometimes.
Yeah.
It totally depends where I am, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can walk into a setup and think this is better for photo or film.
Yeah.
Like this situation where we're sat now, where it's like under a bridge, it's very rustic, it's very quite dark. Photos around here, fantastic. I would have to actually think quite a lot to make a film out of this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of me. I love photography. I really do enjoy it, but I'm told that people like my films better.
Yeah. See,
And I
like
think-
what you think you're better at is
Yeah.
usually the opposite of what other people look
Yeah.
at.
Because apparently I find it easier, which is natural. I find it easier to capture a moment in video than in the photo, which I get. But I think it's because I look at photos differently than most people look at photos. What's your one top tip for a newcomer?
One top tip for a newcomer. It's got to be just create.
Yeah.
Create just something.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a professional yet. You don't have to have a whole like master plan of like, you know, a video series and a film and a photo album. Like literally, if you've got a camera or a phone and you want to start, then you start, because otherwise you're never gonna, like, it's like playing a musical instrument. You know, it is practice.
Yeah.
It is an art. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't
Can't just pick it up and
you
go.
can't just pick it up and go. I also firmly believe that you can't learn something like this in a classroom. You
No.
physically need to go out and shoot something.
Yeah.
If it goes wrong, it goes wrong,
Yeah.
but you've got something. Yeah.
Definitely. I completely agree with that. The only other thing that I always put onto it is learn to be super patient, but very persistent at the same time. So like you've got to be super patient to know that in the next couple of weeks you might not get anywhere. You might spend 4, 5, 6 hours a day working on your Instagram game and talking to people and stuff, and nothing might convert until 6 months time.
Yet. You always need to put yet at the end of.
Yeah.
If you ever doubt yourself, yet.
Yeah.
Just stick yet on the end of it.
And that's what I mean by like amazing patience, but be persistent. So it's like notice that it's not happening yet, but knowing that you've got to continuously do the work.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, oh, it was a bad week, so I'm just not going to do anything next week.
Yeah.
If you're not creating, if you're not doing something, if you're not moving forward, don't expect anything.
If you're putting stuff out there, people will find it. People will find it. It might take them a while, but they're going to find it.
I think we probably need to stop
I think we've
this.
covered everything. We've covered a lot. We have definitely not covered everything.
No, but you could do this all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You could sit here for ages and talk about things, and you know, hopefully this is not the last. Actually, it's not even hopefully. This is not the last time me and Dani will work together.
Absolutely not.
You know, and it'll be great for obviously everyone to see what we get up to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think we'll close this. We'll close
it
I
out.
think we can close this Q&A here.
I feel sorry for Dani who has to go through this later.
No, we're absolutely fine.
I'll be there driving back to Yorkshire, and you'll be like, oh god.
Oh god. Whose idea was this?
It was funny though because we both went, you know, like, let's do a Q&A.
Let's do
It'll be
a
like
Q&A.
15 minutes long.
Like,
It might not be 15 minutes long. It might be like a 2-parter.
It might be a full feature-length film. Who knows?
Until next time.
Until next time.
Right, thank you very much for joining in, guys, and we will see you soon.